Hello.
Yo, that was a lot. Sorry.
We're back.
We're back after a little bit of a break.
A little bit.
Much needed, but happy to be here. Lots happened since we were last year. That's for sure.
Since we haven't done an intro in a while, I will go ahead and do it. Welcome to the Sooner Smiths live show here at the Voice of College Football Oklahoma channel. I am Tierney Smith.
Technically, my ex-girlfriend. I saw that on a Facebook video earlier. I thought it was kind of funny. Mm-hmm. This guy from Alabama said his wife is his ex-girlfriend, which is like true, technically. Also, I'm Chad Smith.
And again, we are the Sooner Smiths. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And if you enjoy our content, you will enjoy Josh's content even more because he comes on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And he also has a call-in show on Thursdays at 7 p.m. So lots of content here at the Voice of College Football Oklahoma channel. If you dislike college football in general, be sure to check out the Voice of College Football on all social media platforms. And if you don't like seeing our faces, you can also listen to us wherever you get podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Amazon, Apple. That way you just have to hear us. You don't have to look at us. But whenever we start Xenozone, you're going to want to look at us because he's pretty cute.
Yep. There you go. Boom. We got a few things to talk about today for sure. Oklahoma's getting a lot of hype right now.
Love it.
Most importantly,
kind of.
Only 12 days left until the season starts.
Okay, I want to recreate this picture with Zeno.
That's awesome. What a great photo.
I love it. Look at Burger. Paid actor.
Zoom in here.
Also, it's a weenie dog named Burger.
That's the kind of guy Jared is. Oh, sorry. There he is. Look at
that. The cute boy.
I want to shout out our guy,
Sooner Focus.
Sooner Focus. Sorry, I almost said Sooner. Almost said a couple different Sooner names. Sooner Focus. For my money, the best with the Photoshop that I see. But, I'm also biased. 12 days left. 12. Also the number of which former Oklahoma quarterback? You'll know. He's from Artesia, New Mexico in high school.
Way to put me on the spot.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna go. Once you say it.
Is it Jason White?
Nope, he's 18.
18. Darn it! I was like, he's a teen.
Come on, don't.
Recently,
if someone knows it in the chat. No, not recently.
Okay, well, I'm literally going through. I was literally going like 14, 7, 1, 1, 6.
I was in high school when he was starting.
13. Did he actually play for OU?
Yeah, he actually led in mostly every quarterback stat for OU.
When you were when?
When I was in high school.
What year in high school?
2009 to 2012, probably.
Are you Trevor Knight?
Nope.
No.
Right. All right.
I don't know. I'm bad at numbers.
Who is it? If anyone in the chat knows, type it real quick. Because I'm curious if anyone else. I mean, there'll be someone that for sure knows it. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! There we go. Landry Jones.
Darn it! That was my guess, and I was like,
"That's like you're gonna."
That's my next one. What's funny is Landry Jones's head popped in my head, but then Trevor Knight's name came out.
129. Wow, youngin.
Dang.
Also, the number of Austin Box. RIP.
Landry Jones too, because also who I was thinking of his wife.
Who's the wife?
Whitney Hand.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic women's basketball player.
I think her name is Whitney Jones, actually.
It is now. But she was one of my favorites. I was thinking.
Fantastic. But yeah, OU's jumped to 7.5 wins on the over/under for the 2020 upcoming 2025 season, and pretty interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about that. The Mateer to Heisman hype has finally reached levels that I think are both appropriate and also, you get kind of nerve-wracked whenever it is your quarterback.
Pause.
What?
I'm actually upset with myself because I knew Landry Jones led because they always talk about Landry Jones, like how good of a quarterback he would have been, quote unquote. But I mean, he was in
He was good, yeah.
stats, but just like all of his errors were fatal. And then who he followed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Anyways, the ex-girlfriend talk got in my head.
There you go. That's why you throw it in there early. You get her flustered. I love stuff like I was just going to say roommate, but that, technically housemate. Yeah. So got that coming up. Oh, I got to do this. Boom. Got that coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about some first-year national champion quarterbacks. There was an interesting video I saw. We're going to just kind of look at that and listen to it real quick about it was by Andy Staples. And he talks about how many first-year quarterbacks have won national championships, first-year starting quarterbacks. John Mateer technically isn't that, but I think it just goes to show that you don't have to have, be fully experienced within a system, even though John is, to win a national title. There's some nuance with that. The teams that he's going to reference were some of the best to ever play, but it is what it is. Kendall Daniels says that he's kind of found his own flow in Oklahoma at the cheetah position. He has a pretty good interview about the getting to work with Brent Venables and what that has meant for him and his development, which I think is pretty good. And you gotta feed the fans red meat when you get it. Jackson Arnold gets screamed at, and we were gonna watch that. We got to. You just can't skip it. Let's see if there's anything else. We're talking a little bit about injuries. Nothing news breaking. We had a family friend of ours that went to the alumni game over the weekend.
Or alumni barbecue.
Alumni barbecue. Got to watch the full scrimmage, and he kind of gave us some inside info, I guess you could say, technically. But there is also Orlando Brown Jr. Sooner Cowboy says, watching Orlando Brown Jr. block for Joe Burrow. I miss Brown Jr. Yeah, I know. I miss guys like that too. Hopefully we have two guys in Foje and Fasusi that are going to become those kind of players. By the way, if you didn't know, Afalava, the big time, the other lineman we were wanting to get that ended up going to, oh gosh, where was it? It was Michigan. He was the big 5-star lineman. He just suffered a season-ending injury today, sadly. So I wish him the best, man. I hate whenever I see injuries like that. But yeah, so hopefully he gets back and he's able to play fairly quickly. And it's obviously not this season, but pretty quickly afterwards.
That's awful.
All right, well, let's get started. I want to go through Phil Steele on. There's just some sound we're going to listen to, and then we're going to kind of pause and kind of just give our thoughts on it. Phil Steele here has a great.
Yeah, Andrew.
What's up? Sorry.
Babalola. It was him who got injured.
Babalola, yeah.
You said something else.
I think I might have said Afalava, who actually came to Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that's what I was confused. Dude, back when they were going through their recruitment, I literally don't think I ever got their names correct. I always switched it. I always got Afalava and Babalola backwards.
They're really hard.
Well, they also have a lot of A's and both have an L right there.
It sounds kind of like Disney character
Andrew
names.
Babalola. Yep. Will not be a 1,000-yard rusher. We will talk about that too. What'd you say to you? My bad. Sorry.
They kind of sound like Disney character names.
Yeah,
like exactly. Cutesy. Like I don't know.
A 1K. All right. Yeah, thank you. It is kind of a Boomer 129 says tongue twister. It is, and I'm not.
Chad's pretty good at those, honestly.
I need to remember that it's Bob. See, I almost said Afalova. Dude, I hate it. It's like whenever I got Jacob Jordan. Okay. Let's start out with this sound from Phil Steele about why he thinks Oklahoma. By the way, this is the same guy. If you listen to our show with the Alabama preview with the walking encyclopedia of football knowledge, he is literally a stump the Schwab when it comes to college football. It's insane. There was ESPN used to have a fantastic show. My father-in-law, your dad could probably be on it with Celtics knowledge. There was this guy that just knew everything about sports. It was called Stump the Schwab, and he would just go on and it would just be like random. It was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but like random football or sports questions. And it was insane. I think it came out that he can kind of like tip questions and stuff, which, fair enough. Yeah. It's still entertaining. But let me open this real
study
quick.
Guide.
And let me go full. This is on the Aaron Torres podcast, by the way. I want to give full credit here. Just so we know we're not trying to rip content. Let's see. Let's go here.
That's a ripping noise.
That's fine. Let's go stop sharing there.
You know how many sound effects I do every day working with kids?
I bet a ton.
So many.
That share. And then let me know if y'all can hear this. I just kind of want to start.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button, and kind of maybe know a little bit of the context there, but would be curious what it is about Oklahoma that has you so excited.
Yeah, and it was, first of all, they've got the defense. Last year they held opponents to 87 yards per game below their season average, number 6 in the country. The majority of the defense is back. Offense was a problem last year. They had 0 returning starters on the offensive line. This year, they have a veteran offensive line, and Bill Benbow, one of the best offensive line coaches out there. The receiving corps was banged up last year. At one point, they were down their top 5 receivers due to injury. Well, they get those injured players back, and they add some
I will pause right there. We don't get, obviously, the receivers back, but I'm going to rewind it because I don't think T heard the beginning of it.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Is what it is about Oklahoma that has
I'm
you so
glad they
excited?
could.
Yeah, and it was, first of all, they've got the defense. You know, last year they held opponents to 87 yards per game below their season average, number 6 in the country. The majority of the defense is back.
That right there. Defense held the opponent's offenses 87 yards below their average last year, and they weren't put in the best positions to do that. Now, I guess you could say both ways. I mean, most teams ran on us after a while, so it kind of helped because we were good at stopping the run. But still, I mean, it's not like Texas wasn't trying to score whenever they were playing us, and we still held them. You know, we still, again, it's like if you don't put our offense or defense in the situations, or the guy doesn't make a miraculous recovery in the end zone on a strip at the one, it looks a lot better. But that kind of stuff right there is no. I'm sorry, there's some comments. Afalava's fine. I meant to say Babaloa from Michigan, the guy that we were.
He just saying he hadn't heard anything about him.
Oh. He
He's
was
young.
no, Afalava's fine. I always get that. I got that mixed up back. Remember when last year they were having the recruiting battle? Babaloa was Babaloa, Foje, and Afalava, and all those guys. I don't know. They got mixed up in my head, and I've always made that mistake. And there we go, did it again. But again, Phil Steele talking about why he is picking Oklahoma as his surprise team and to make the playoff. Starts with the defense. It's going to be even better, I think, than last year. And he continues.
Offense was their problem last year. They had 0 returning starters on the offensive line. This year, they have a veteran offensive line, and Bill Benbow, one of the best offensive line coaches out there. The receiving corps was.
Last year we had a young offensive line, he says, and this year we have one of the most veteran and an injured one. And then you juxtapose that with a team like Texas, who lost 4 starters last year,
of whom played 87
games with each other,
consecutive together.
And it's fun. It's so weird seeing the Texas hype. Like they're going to be the greatest. They're going to be like 2021 Georgia. Whenever you like listen to people talk about Arch Manning and all this, and we'll get into that next week on our previews. But they are. It's like, you know, the most important position is quarterback, and then the second most important position group, to me, is offensive line. And whenever and usually when a team has lost their starting quarterback, a 3-year starter in Quinn Ewers, and they have to go to a young guy that has. I mean, for me. He has experience, but not in games where you really need him to make a drive or need him to do make starts against teams he doesn't.
We're not going to compare UL Monroe and Mississippi State to Florida, Georgia.
Yeah.
He did go in, I guess, 1 snap, I think, on Georgia.
Yeah. And he like almost fumbled the ball when he got tackled. But, you know, and it's not to say I don't think he'll be good. I'm just saying like all this stuff about he was like the Heisman favorite. How is that even? How do you even?
I heard he wasn't on the Manning watch list, though.
How do you
I didn't check, though. Funny enough.
Wow. That would be funny. But how do you even evaluate that? The dude, and he may end up winning the Heisman next year. I have no. He might be better than everyone said. I'm just saying at this point, there's just no objective material. But you know, that's a. I'll get sidetracked with that, so I won't try to. But I just think it's interesting how we are kind of going from the inexperience of last year to now we are at a more experienced offensive line.
Like I think even somebody mentioned like one of our 4th string O linemen was like a 3-year starter at Stanford. Yeah. Not that Stanford's just powerhouse football, but regardless, that's a 3-year starter at Division I school.
Yep.
And he's now a 4th string. That just shows a little bit of the depth there that was lacking so much last year.
Exactly. And he's, you know, going to be a guy that, from what Gabe Eichert had said, he likes Stanford guy. I think it's Mikhaila, but he likes what he's seen from him. And, you know, on that side, he said most of the guys could play if they had to this year. I think you have Jake Taylor, and
Troy
Everett, and then is it Sexton, I believe, Jacob Sexton, that are just kind of in their helmets and shorts, not really taking contact, but are able to kind of still practice, which is a nice relief from a year ago when they were all in shorts and t-shirts.
Was mic'd up recently.
Oh yeah, I had that saved so we could listen to it. I think it'd be funny. But
funny.
Just continue. It's just a little bit
banged up last year. At one point, they were down their top 5 receivers due to injury. Well, they get those injured players back, and they had some.
Well, he was incorrect. We don't get the 5 receivers that were injured back. They're on. Well, we get 1 back. The others are on other teams now. But small correction.
Transfers, and I'll bring Clemson into the equation there. 2 years ago, Cade Klubnik was much maligned. He had 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions because he had lost his top 3 receivers prior to the season. Well, last year he got those injured players back. They added to the mix. All of a sudden he had 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I see the same thing with Oklahoma. The receiving core goes from below average to a strength this year. They added in Jade Knott at running back from Cal, who I thought was the best running back in the Pac-12 2 years ago. And they also added in John Mateer from Washington State and Washington State's offensive coordinator. So now with an offense to go with that defense. And then last year they only had 3 SEC home games. Well, this year they only have 3 true SEC road games.
I think right there, that's one of the
Games
most
with Texas
important
being
points
a
about the success of this next season. Last year, we only had 3 true SEC home games. This year, we only have 3 true SEC road games. The switch in that, I think, is massive, especially when you look at which games we have at home. LSU is probably going to be one of the top-ranked teams in the country when they come here.
I think it'd be a very big game.
Yep. You don't go to Auburn where things get weird. You get Missouri at home. You go to Tennessee, who I don't think will be as good as last year. Tennessee lost their 3 best wide receiver targets. The new quarterback. You lose your best running back, and you lose a lot of guys on defense that were just absolute dogs. And so I think again we have the advantage there. And then you obviously go to Alabama. They'll be good. They're Alabama. I think they're
seeking revenge.
Yep. And their quarterback's going to be good as well. So I think it'll be pretty good. And again, sometimes you just need to do the simple things and get it to the playmakers and not turn the ball over. But again, the games we have at home and away, I think set up well for us. And I think we could go to Alabama and win. It could be, Mateer's Manziel moment, as one of the Crane & Co guys said. Hopefully it is, but I think we're going to.
So it's still a tough schedule, but
there's just a few more things.
Better schedule, much improved offense, outstanding defense, solid special teams. I see them as a potential playoff team, despite the fact they were 6-7 last year.
Let me ask you this. In your experience covering this sport, I know it's a relatively new phenomenon of new OC being able to bring his quarterback with him. I guess that Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley would probably qualify for that. But is there any data that show because, I think the expectation is obviously, hey, John Mateer is going to be awesome because he played in this system, even if he's going from the Pac-12/Pac-2 to the SEC. I'm just curious because you would know this better than anybody. Do we have any data yet on coaches that are able to bring a quarterback with them that already
pretty interesting stuff here.
He knows his system and the impact that can have at the next stop?
Yeah, and we could take a look at Western Kentucky as another one of those examples. 2 years ago, they brought in Bailey Zappi and his offensive coordinator. And all of a sudden, Bailey Zappi threw for nearly 6,000 yards that year. And he's actually going back to the well this year. He's bringing in Abilene Christian's offensive coordinator and Abilene Christian's quarterback. So he's trying to get lightning to strike twice. The brief history we have of this, I've seen good success. So I'm expecting the same for Oklahoma.
All right, we'll stop it there. If you guys want to listen to the rest of it, you can find him on YouTube. I think Torres does a good job. Like someone said, he does have really really excited intros, so just prepare for that. But I think he does a solid job. And let me stop sharing here.
Unshrink us.
And let me unshrink us. I think he makes a great point on the 3 true road games. Obviously, we played Texas. I think were we away last year?
To me, it's all the same.
I think we're home this year. Well, the benefit of being home is you get to take recruits to the game.
Right.
And I can't remember. Someone in the chat let us know if it was home or away because I can't recall off the top of my head. If you could for me, please. But we get to play. We obviously play Texas. Doesn't matter, so that doesn't count either way. Side note on that game: how cool would it be if one of us if we both made the playoff and we got like a home game hopefully at Oklahoma, OU Texas in Norman.
It'd be crazy, but I wouldn't want to play them again personally.
Yeah.
Atmosphere-wise, incredible, but I would not want to play them again at home. But
okay, I think we were home.
I think what's actually funny is the whole season. I mean, I say the whole season, but the last few videos we had, we were just talking about how people were just overlooking our injuries, and yet all that time, everybody on TV saying, "Oh, Oklahoma just sucks." Essentially, there's no reason. And now all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, wait, well, actually, when we dug into this, turns out, they're inexperienced and hurt at the O-line, had 5 receivers out. That it's exactly what we said, and it's yes, thank you."
Well, it's finally people are starting to see odd year's Texas's home team.
All right.
Hey, well, look at this. I honestly never even considered that. You're right, because it's 2025. We were home last year. Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's right. Wow.
It's because they're
cool.
odd. It's because they're weird.
Well, Les Wilson, smarter. Did you say because they're odd? That's funny. Yeah, and I think it's right. So, I don't know. I just think it's so weird how there's this continued belief that like no team, like Oklahoma's just incapable or was actually the max as like actually had all their talent last year, and that was who we were. I've said it before, and people will say it's a joke or like it's ridiculous, but I mean, OU, when they're healthy, OU can beat Texas. They can compete with any team in the country. And the only year they've been healthy under Venables, and hopefully he's learning from those other years, was when Dylan Gabriel and them beat them in the Red River, and they had 10 wins. Obviously, had a bad loss against BYU against Oklahoma State and Kansas.
Because we played Kansas
year.
the next week and it was raining, and there was, I think Farouk tried to catch it before,
Danny
and then
he got
ended
injured.
up being a whole fumble thing, and Danny wasn't playing those 2 games.
Yep.
Kansas was just a terrible. We just were on that lull. Anyways,
but someone brought up the offensive line, and I got Sooner Cowboys mentions that Josh Pate has Mateer as his Heisman winner, but not in the CFPs. I have that sound for at least with Pate saying that Mateer is going to win the Heisman, that he thinks he will. Which I
you just heard a strange noise. So. It was Chad
adjusting
his mic
because it was about to fall off this counter. But yeah, so I have that. Hopefully we can go and but Sooner Cowboys are taught. Bowl wins to me I think they're largely going to become they already are relevant. When you have 30 guys, we had 26 last year out on a team that was already missing 9 starters. I'm just, and we haven't had one sit out in the 3 bowl games. Not one starter has set out against us. Not one. Florida State, Arizona State. I mean, Navy is Navy, but still you're playing 4th-year seniors against true freshmen in 6 different positions. I don't know. It's irrelevant to me. Anyways, new season, and we're going to talk about what's coming up. Gabe Eichert, Teddy Lehman, obviously Oklahoma Breakdown. They mentioned the Oklahoma offensive line and that they think it's one of the deeper lines they've had in years. Just kind of wanted to listen to that real quick and get y'all's reactions in the chat, and then also we'll talk a little bit about it too. But here we go.
It is nice to say that, okay.
By the way, Teddy with a beard now.
And he found a different shirt. He doesn't wear that same hoodie.
Did he have
He's been diversifying his wardrobe?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Fasusi does win the job. If Howland does win the job, well, you got 2 backups that have played a lot of football and could step in and give. Like, you're not going to have a whole lot of fall off at either of those positions,
which would be a marketed, obviously, improvement off of last season.
If a guy goes down or needs to wrap an ankle or helmet pops off or, any of the scenarios that can happen. I mean, the play obviously is much better than it was a year ago. And the depth is we've got more depth than we've had on the offensive line at any time during Venables' tenure here.
Which not saying much, but, I still think it's going to be pretty. I mean, this is what it was geared up to be. Like, this was supposed to be the year that we obviously hope that it would be, a little more success in the years previous. But
and you've been saying really since the hire, even before any of the seasons or any play was made under Venables, that you're going to save all your judgments for 2025.
Yeah.
You said that's when he's going to have his recruits in. That's when he's going to have everything set. You're going to have experience. And so, I mean, I can attest to him saying that.
Especially for the defense. I was just like, man, I because now you got PJ coming in. At the time, I was like, you get PJ 3 years to get better. You give David Stone will be in his 2nd year. Now I didn't know Jaden Jackson we would have a guy like him who, from all intents and from all reports I've heard, including from over this weekend talking to the guy that we did, Jaden Jackson might be the best defensive player U's had since. I mean, even I don't know. Go back to the Selman brothers. I mean, he is supposed to be. I mean, from what they're doing, you can't move him. And he's not really an inside pass rusher like a Stone's going to be. They have a little bit different just gear to him in that sense. But in terms of stopping the run, which I think lends to the Michigan game really well, he's going to be an absolute force. And he was his true freshman year. Like, I mean, it's not like he was
also,
not doing that already.
We're going to be playing against likely a true freshman quarterback in Michigan as well. So if you can, I'm going defensively. I'm switching it up on you. But if you can get to that young quarterback a few times, I think that could, get in his head a little bit and be a good advantage for us.
Yeah, and again, we're going to get to this the Heisman stuff here in a sec.
Sorry,
with
I
John
heard
Mateer,
O line and like pass rushing. I was like, oh,
No, you're
Michigan.
It's all good. I'm going to put this Pate. Do you know who Josh Pate is, T?
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, he's kind of just like a name in college football for anyone that doesn't know. He's a good reporter. Has some new, I guess he's having some new contract stuff coming out, which has been interesting. But here he is talking about John Mateer. Then I'm just going to go through some stats about. Sorry, we just got a text here real quick. Sorry. Until we get a producer, I'm going to give us a pass on the every now and then having to look down at our phones and stuff, because there are people that actually go to these clips for them and stuff. And I am not the best at multitasking in that way, I guess. Here is Josh Pate, CBS contributor, has the Pate State, obviously Pate's college football show. I think he's really, really good. I enjoy his content. I think he's funny. He has has a Colin Cowherd-esque ability to make kind of complex sports analogies really funny and simple. As much as I disagree with Colin in a lot of things, one thing he was really good at that made him really listenable, or made him easy to listen to on radio, I think I just made up a word.
I like it.
Was the fact that he was able to do that. Colin's really, really good at analogies, and I think Josh Pate is in a similar vein of that. But here's what he has said about John Mateer and his ability to, and his likeliness of why he's picking him to win the Heisman. Let me play it.
I, Joshua D. Pate, have bet John, fill in the blank, don't know his middle name, Mateer, to win the Heisman Trophy this year. And I did not do it via Venmo. I did it the old-fashioned way, FanDuel. Some people doubt his level of competition before he got here. Some of them question his mechanics. Okay, I don't doubt him at all. I think he could be a game wrecker in the SEC. They have a couple of early opportunities. Michigan comes.
Yep, that's what we're going to get into too.
Comes in town week 2. Auburn comes in town a couple of weeks later. Great opportunities at home for him to shine. They got an opportunity to be 5-0 when they go play Texas. I think they will be 5-0, at which point the talk is no longer Brent Venables' hot seat or will this Washington State transfer pan out? Who is Ben Arbuckle? You'll know that quarterback's a stud. That offensive coordinator's a stud. Brent Venables is holding it down on defense. And that leads us to the Red River Shootout, a game known by no name other than that on this show.
Which makes me a fan of his. They call it the Red River Shootout, not the Red River Rivalry. Speaking of tongue twisters. I mean, how weak do you have to be to say shootout sounds just a little too... well, never mind. I don't want to go off on that. Sorry.
John Mateer against the Heisman Trophy favorite. And at that point, our balls are in his court. I think he's going to show up. Well, I'm telling you, he's got the ability to not so much struggle adjusting to the league, but he's got that kind of ability that makes the league adjust to him. I believe in him. I'm betting him to win the Heisman Trophy. And so that is my big sports betting related news around John Mateer.
Boom. Again, we're getting just news on news about this stuff. So, whenever you have so many, it's kind of like the law of large numbers. At some point, it's just the average or whatever's the common denominator between that is going to be true. Whenever, at some point, there is a reason why everybody that is paid to look into this stuff and does it for a living is picking John right now, or at least saying he has a really, really good chance. And there's a few things.
They put a money line on John Moneyline Mateer.
Huge game. We will have 30 committed. Yeah, so the Michigan game is going to be big. We have a lot of recruits coming in, but also remember that like winning the Heisman isn't, or even being highly ranked or getting off to these games where, sorry, my hair, believe it or not, is caught in my headset right now and it's pinching its point. These kind of games, the reason why they're important early in the season is similar to what Texas got to use the Michigan win for last year, where everyone talked about, well, look, they beat a Michigan team that went on and beat Ohio State and went on and beat who'd they beat at the last end of the year?
Alabama.
Yeah, and it beat Alabama.
Why
That's what I'm talking about,
that?
T.
I know.
I'm talking about. And it's because of games like that where you get the benefit of the doubt later in the season. And with what Oklahoma's going to have, and what's beautiful about the Michigan game being week 2 is I think Bryce Underwood with the talent level will end up being pretty good as a true freshman quarterback. It's just you're not going to be that same player you are week 9. It's obviously common sense, but the week 9 Bryce Underwood isn't going to be what he is going to be much better than he was in week 2. And you're going on the road and you're playing against arguably the best defensive coordinator, especially when it comes to getting pressure on a quarterback that there might have ever been. And not only is he that good gifted, in calling plays, he also has a defense that's one of the most experienced and just I'm sorry. I'll just say this because it's just true based on what I've both heard from people who have seen several practices, and have been to almost all of them, and just what is returning. Obviously, it's going to be at a minimum a top 15 defense in the country, has a chance to be a top 5, has a chance to be one of the best defenses OU's ever seen, OU's ever had, and it's a national championship, bar none, national championship level defense. The only question we have is, can the offense complement it? And that's key. Not be as good, because I don't think anybody thinks our offense is going to be top 10, 15. Maybe.
But it
I don't
just
know.
has to be average.
Exactly.
Like last year, I've said it a million times in here. If our offense was just average last year, we win at least 3 more games.
Yep.
At least.
If our offense isn't literally scoring against our own team, literally doing the opposite of what an offense should do. An offense should at least go forward with the ball, and score against the other team, not against your own team.
Yeah. It was tough. It was really ugly. My biggest thing too is I cautiously optimistic, but I'm very every time I keep seeing videos that, obviously the football team, they're going to post the good stuff. But from what we're hearing from people who actually have gone, so our friend that got to go to that alumni barbecue, just straight up saying that he's going to be good. He's a dog. He's tough, he's strong, his arm is good, he can throw off balance. And that's one thing I noticed in the scrimmage video. He's throwing off balance, basically cross body, and throws a dart to Deion Burks and catches it for what looked like either a touchdown or just a big play. And those are things you can't teach.
Nope.
That's just ability, that's just being a gamer.
Yep.
And that's something that when we lacked last year. And even then, Dylan Gabriel was a really good college quarterback, but I think he did lack some of the strength-wise.
Yeah.
But even then, we've just we haven't seen that in a while.
Yep.
I know that, doing sidearm passes, stuff like that, it just, I don't know. And again, the defenses he's playing against in practice too, they're not scrubs. He's playing against good defenses. And again, it's not necessarily going to be full speed, full strength,
right,
as it would in a game. But I don't know. I keep seeing clips. I'm like, wow.
Well,
I feel like it's actually. I came in kind of with the same mindset of Washington State, but I watched the film he looks good, but, and now I keep watching. I'm like, okay, hold up now. But again, we'll see when the season comes. But
you're 100% right, and I think a lot of people forget. And I have Les Wilson commented on here, and it's not something. Sorry, not Les, but thank you for your comment too. Sorry about that, and I'll get to that. But Innovative Images, who. That's an interesting one. Awesome. Says, I want to believe the hype about Mateer, but all the hype that surrounded Arnold was eerily similar. I'll disagree a little bit.
Disagree.
And thank you for the comment. I do want to. There's not all hype is the same, and there are a couple key differences in that. One is the talk out of spring and fall camp is completely different. Remember, with Arnold, it was. We're hearing he's struggling in fall camp. We're hearing he's struggling, and even going back to his spring camp days with turnovers, with really running the offense efficiently. And obviously that a lot of that had to do, we found out, with just not having, a lot of the players weren't even participating because they were injured. And you heard about the turnovers, you heard about the lack of confidence and lack of understanding of the offense, decision making. Now you go to the John Mateers, right? And Kendall Dobie, for example, when we interviewed him, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it. He's an awesome interview, awesome person. And for my money, a better athlete than myself. But we'd have to get, but an awesome person. And he talked about how, last year, and it was funny because he was trying to, bite his tongue a little bit about not coming off as he didn't want to trash him or sound bad. But at the end of it, he goes, man, I'm not gonna lie, we were cooking the offense last year. He goes, they couldn't do anything against us. He goes, but even as early as spring ball, he goes, man, they drive on us, and they dominated them in the alumni game, the spring game, on goal line, and they dominated in the red zone. And in the red zone, you have to have two things really: a quarterback that has a good understanding and anticipation, and he's accurate. Those are really the three things you have to have for good red zone offenses. And they were dominant, and the defense struggled, and that's a good thing. You want both teams to struggle because they know each other so well. Eventually, they're going to get one-ups on each other because they play each other every day. But what you want is that continuing getting each other better. And I'll never forget, it's one of my favorite stories. Back in college, one of my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was on the track team, and we were hanging out, and Obo Okoronkwo is over there, and Mixon, all these guys are there, right? All similar athletes to myself, and this is before Baker's first year ever playing. And I remember I was sitting there and I go, because Trevor Knight was the guy and he was supposed to be the starter that next year too, because he was coming back. And I was like, so Trevor's gonna be the starter, right? And he goes, man, I don't know. He goes, man, I'm telling you, like that Baker guy, he's like, bro, he's got like this something about him where like he walks around and people there's something about him and you just want to like play for him. He goes, dude, and he's the most accurate passer I've ever seen in my life. He's like, the dude does not ever have a bad throw. And I hear the same things out of now. Again, the Baker stuff they're just comparisons because of their fire, and they just have a weird look. They kind of do similar, like look oddly the same. But
the leadership qualities are there, and he's fiery. And you hear the same thing about accuracy. This guy, like the guy that went to the game, is like, man, he's just accurate. The back shoulder throws, which are a back shoulder route, and if it's completed correctly, it's literally unguardable. You can have Travis Hunter against a normal college quarterback, and if that college quarterback and receiver have a back shoulder throw that's timed up perfectly, you cannot guard it. You're gonna prime Deion Sanders. It's literally unguardable, and that like those kind of plays take accuracy, anticipation, which you have to have in red zone play, and that's what they were killing them with. And you hear that kind of talk, and it reminds me of like Julian Sain was just announced as the starter for Ohio State today, and Ryan Day in one of his press conference talked about, there were a couple of things, obviously understanding of the offense, but, with all of his quarterbacks, and I think it's similar for OU's best quarterbacks too, although they had different ways of going about it, they were all very accurate. Baker was extremely accurate, Sam Bradford, Jason White, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. Now they did that in other ways. Caleb Williams is really accurate as true freshman year, but they all were accurate. And for me, it's like, what did we not have last year? Granted, he was hurt, and he was hurt by the circumstances, but we didn't have accuracy. We didn't have protection of the ball. Even when things were open, it wasn't hit. And I think, too, you talked about differences in hype, and I believe, like Les also is reading my mind, Arnold had high school hype.
Yep.
Playing against high school athletes, high school film hype. John Mateer has hype, at least from a D1 college level.
Yes. Yep, you're right.
And yes, a pack. But those are still D1 athletes that he's making look silly.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's coming in with a system he's been in that he's familiar with. So we have the confidence, check. We have the accuracy, check. We have the athletic ability, check. Hopefully now we have the protection and the weapons around him for him to continue to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, again, cautiously optimistic. But the more that I see from him, and then the more I hear from people who are there, who have experience. The friend that we know, like he's won a national championship with Oklahoma. He knows talent and played in the NFL.
I mean, every OU fan would know him if we said his name, but we're not going to do it.
No, but he knows talent, and he had nothing but high praises to say about what he saw from John Mateer.
And he wasn't a guy to say, look, I'm not hearing good things about blah blah.
Oh
blah.
no, and he's been very, very.
Last year you were like, you knew. I was like, oh well,
too.
that's not good.
So I mean.
Last thing I'll say to your point about just the differences in experience. Experience out of high school is like when you start a job, you don't get it like you don't get to use you don't react to situations. You just learn, like you're just learning from situations. You don't get to actually, and I forget the actual like the difference is like professionals have to remember circumstances and amateurs have to learn circumstances. Like professionals have seen all that, but like for example, in your job or whatever, or an experienced quarterback has seen it all before. They just have to remember what to do to certain coverages, certain situational plays. Whereas when you have a guy that's young and hasn't played a lot, he's learning what to do in those situations. So it's a completely different platform in which like they're playing the game from. But anyways, I'm all for it. I think the hype is, I don't know. Does he win the Heisman? There's one player that literally wins it. If he's a finalist, that's amazing.
Right. If he's a finalist, we had a dang good year.
If he's a finalist, we're in the playoff and we're going to be ranked.
Just saying.
We might be a top 3 team in the country if he's a finalist.
Right. And again, somebody mentioned just because you win the Heisman doesn't mean you necessarily make the playoff. Yeah, but you have a better chance.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a Caleb Williams. Who, again, if they had won their conference game, they're in it. Jaden Daniels. LSU didn't make it that year.
Look at you.
And then, I already said Caleb Williams. There's one more I'm thinking of. Oh, Travis Hunter, Colorado.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's 3 right there that didn't make it, but look at all the rest who did. Anyways, we do have a video we need to show you guys before we get on to our next bit.
Okay. And it's
media.
This is why I listen to the boss here. All right, here we go.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Voila.
So make your money. Make your money, people.
Make that money.
We're here just making people rich at the Voice of College Football. There is interesting. See, I think I'm going to have to join the betting and start throwing some cash down.
Absolutely not.
I don't bet unless there's a lock. Unless there's a lock, I don't throw money down.
You don't bet, period.
Not many locks. I would have bet in the early 2000s, but I was 8.
Closest you get to betting is college pick'ems.
Well, I bet on you and I won.
I don't like that because that implies that
that was a good line by me.
No, it's not. Because that implies that I wasn't necessarily like a good choice or the best choice. I was a bet. I don't like that.
No, I'm going to take it the way I took it, and I like it. I think it's smooth.
No, it's not.
All right. Speaking of betting and winning, Oklahoma won a couple big recruits since the last time we were here. Jake Cruel, one of the great names, by the way, and I think going to be in college football. I can just hear the name like Cruel being announced. Defensive end prospect from Orlando, Florida, IMG Academy, where David Stone and Jaden Jackson played as well. Obviously transferred there and chose. Wait, is it not showing?
Nope.
Chose the Sooners over Texas and Ole Miss, which you got to love whenever we beat them out for a player, because we are actually good.
Ta-da.
There's a picture of him, and I was like, that's kind of a weird one. I don't know if I like it. And so I was just like, well, I'll just do the one he took whenever he took his visit. So there's what he looks like normally. It looks like he's wearing number 98 there, or 88? 98, I think. But I think it's just crunched down right here.
88.
A bit, all right. 88, 98, whatever it is. There is another, again, Chavis, but Bates also flipping Tank Carrington over the weekend or recently as well. Yeah. I just like that. Dude, I love that nickname though. It's fantastic. There was a big flip there. You're like, the way they're able to just continuously stock the defensive line is maybe my favorite thing about this staff. We are continuously, for my money, the best at seeing where we need to make improvements. And I think we've done it a few times, and we make them.
A picture of Coach Bates. That's funny.
By the way, Jake Cruel has 3 sacks in his first game in high school, which is awesome. Love that. And there's also a couple of pass breakups there. But there, I know this one of Todd Bates is hilarious. Yes, James Carrington from why does it not say where he's from? That's annoying. AIC Sports though got him, and there is from Florida, decommitted from Florida State and committed a 6'3", 270 defensive lineman from Irving, California. And again, just another big pickup. We're continually to Ghost of Texas football. Thanks, dog. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Talk about a good guy, and I hate saying it because he's a Texas fan, but he's awesome. Solid dude. Just a big pickup there for OU again. I know a lot of people have questions about like our recruiting ranking and whatnot. Yeah.
So from what I've seen with this one, everybody's like, oh, 3-star. He reclassified, in which in the 2027 class, he was a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
But when he reclassified, made him 3. Then additionally, and I looked it up for funsies, he had additional offers from Ole Miss, Michigan, Texas A&M, Alabama, Notre Dame, Colorado, Georgia, South Carolina, USC, Florida, Nebraska, LSU, Tennessee, and others. So again, I didn't even name all the teams. I just named who I considered,
Are those D1 teams? Are they good? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people are going to ask those teams.
Yeah. So, I mean, dude's a gamer.
Yeah.
So don't ever, people in the comments saying, oh, 3-star. It's reclassification. And then additionally, look at who's offering him.
Yep.
If you're winning recruits with with Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, those names in the mix,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing pretty well.
There is, some great information. Just going back to I wanted to read the stat, and it's going back to the Mateer talk a little bit. And it goes back to, again, the hype about that. Just the difference of it is there was, since 1996, there have been thousands of quarterbacks.
I was about to
I was cuatro años. I can speak Spanish now, and it's been pretty fun. There has only been 6 players to have a season with 3,000 pass yards, 800 rush yards, 25 pass TDs, and 15 rushing touchdowns. John Mateer did that in 2024. I know he didn't play in the SEC. I know he didn't, play Sundays after that in the NFL, but he still did it against Division I athletes, and there were a lot of quarterbacks that are on the NFL and did really well that didn't do anything near that. There were only 6 others. Of those 6, 3 won the Heisman. That was Lamar Jackson, Johnny Manziel, and Tim Tebow. The 4th finished second, and that was Oklahoma's own Jalen Hurts. So when you're in a company of 6 players, 4 of which won or finished second in the Heisman voting, and you're the 6th guy or 7th guy to do it, it's just, that doesn't just happen. You don't just do that by just playing. Washington State's they played BYU, a playoff team. Do I think they were good enough to be in the playoff? It's irrelevant. They were a playoff team. They played Texas Tech, who had good wins last year. He's done it against teams that have athletes on the field that are going to be NFL players. And again, it goes back to that point about, the hype obviously is hype, but
but you still have to get
irrational. You still have to get the numbers. It's not like they're just letting them run everywhere. But there is a hype there, and I think it's fine. I think it's warranted, or it's not irrational, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. What is the last kind of subject we're going to talk? I want to mention injuries real quick. Venables talked the other day to the media, said that they were just normal bumps and bruises. There was just normal, not anything over the top. Jake Taylor, Jacob Sexton aren't doing much, but they are, they're there at practice. One of those things where, say you're playing Texas next week, I think they're playing. I think it's just, and like what we all wanted coming out of last year is like, put these dudes in bubble wrap. I don't like Deion Burks. I know he's good. Don't practice him anymore. I don't know. Don't have him getting hit.
Yeah.
Like, just let's not get these guys injured before the season.
Just be cautious.
Yeah. Giovanni Gibson was jogging. Looks like he's going to be able to play at least by the Auburn game, which is awesome. So you're going to have all your guys there finally, which is going to be just awesome to see. We had a quick question here about need a Farmageddon prediction. All right, we'll give one of those. And Mark M, not a huge gambler myself, but how confident are you that OU covers the early spread of 35.5 at Illinois State or versus Illinois State? I feel pretty good about the defense. No clue our offense can come through. I would bet the over. If there is a game in which I think OU will go for style points, it's this one. And they're going to be good on offense compared to Illinois State, but
I think our defense will score for us as well.
Yeah. Also, it's special teams. Like they'll have so many different, like Satanga was, people were and talking about how good our special teams returners were. Satanga, you had Ott back there, which I don't want Ott back there returning. Tana Marco got hurt, and I don't like that. But just it made me nervous when Sterling Shepard used to return punts for us. But there are, I think I would take the over. If I was, I would take the over 100%. But it's not my money, so it's easy for me to say that. That's why I don't gamble. Farmageddon prediction, T. Who are you picking in the Kansas State Iowa State game?
I have no idea.
Well, pick.
I don't know.
Pick.
I haven't even looked at either team or anything.
I know.
Okay, fine. How about I go with Kansas State just because I like purple?
Well, you're going to be upset with yourself whenever you hear a recording of this.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see what the.
I literally have not even looked into it. I'm just excited to watch it, but I have not.
It's at Kansas State.
Okay.
That helps.
Kansas State seemed to only be good against OU. So.
Dude, that's no joke. Goodness
Gosh,
gracious.
they always had our numbers. So annoying.
It's actually it's in Dublin, Ireland, on Kansas State. Kansas State's the home team. Ireland. Well,
Ireland.
We all know Kansas State plays well in Ireland. So.
Do they?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I
They
think
played in
it's at
Ireland
Aviva
before?
Stadium. Speaking of which, it's a soccer field. It looks like, and we met some people over our 5th anniversary trip. While I was
You didn't
absolutely,
make one,
absolutely.
prediction.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Man, dude.
Is it really called Farmageddon?
Gosh. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Let's see.
I think
I literally have
Yeah.
not even searched
Unless
into
there's another
this.
game that they're talking about. No, that's it.
It's at 11 a.m. I'm so excited.
Now I'm
So
worried. Am I wrong?
excited.
Have I thought of this like wrongly every time I've heard it in my life?
Wrongly. Kansas State's the favorite. I'm going Kansas State. Yeah, because I like purple. Why not?
Yeah, the game is in Ireland. Okay, I was about to say thank you, Clement. I was like, I like started questioning myself. What the heck? Someone asked about Reggie Powers. Chris King says, what's the vibes on Reggie Powers III? Does he get a lot of snaps right away? I think there's a couple things that go into that. One is a couple things. One is who are they playing? Because Caden Daniels, who we talked about earlier, is really, really good in terms of stopping the run and in terms of inside the tackles or inside the slot receiver kind of positions.
Sure.
And when you're playing a team like Michigan that runs a lot of too tight, runs a lot of or is just a big rushing team and likes to play a lot of even over or extra tackles on the line, I think you're going to get Kendall Daniels a ton. Dolby, it depends too on him in the cornerback position where they think they need him. Dolby's a guy I think you're going to see whenever we play teams like Texas, we play teams like LSU, teams like even Auburn. Auburn might be the best receiving corps, by the way, we play all year. Luckily, hopefully their quarterback has issues again or issues.
That's the video you want to show.
But I'm going to show that.
But anyways, continue with.
There are so with Reggie Powers, he's going to play a ton. I think he's really good, and I think any other year when he didn't have Kendall Daniels or Dolby there, he would be getting half the snaps, if not more. The problem is it's just all about matchups, and I don't know. I'm a big fan of his. I want to see him out there. I think he's fantastic, and I really I love the stuff that Miss Powers on Twitter says. I think she's awesome. He seems to come his parents seem awesome. So I think you see him a lot. I think that he has a lot of good play in him in this coming up season, and obviously want him to succeed for sure. I think the safety position is going to be interesting with who they're going to have starting. Peyton Bowen's supposedly cracking people right now in practice, which he hadn't been doing.
Sorry.
And you got Boganowski who can hit. There's so many guys back there that are going to be able to, I think, at least give production maybe as a group that Billy Bowman did as a player last year, which is what you really want. If I'm going to be honest, I think the one place I'm nervous is Kobe McKenzie at linebacker. And I shouldn't say worried. I'm not worried that he's going to be good, but just in space. Is he going to be able to move? Is he as good on his feet as like a Kip Lewis, or can he keep up in coverage like that? And again, that might be proven to be a relatively ridiculous worry whenever the season starts. But if I was to pick one, the cornerback positions
on defense that you worry about.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The cornerback position seems stacked. Cortland Gilroy, when he committed, I remember watching just his stuff. I was so excited about him.
Yeah,
like he has
apparently
a beast
he is living up to his hype as well.
Yeah, there's just so many options. I think Eli Bowen, Gentry Williams,
Gentry, if we can get him on the field.
Yep. He's apparently looking awesome in practice right now, healthy. So again, put him in bubble wrap, get him ready for at least game 2. I mean, get him out there a little bit if you can play him obviously in the first game. But as soon as it's opposite,
as soon as it's handled,
you're handled. And again, with Eli Bowen, he hasn't practiced, and so he didn't practice in the spring. He hasn't practiced in the fall. And
conditioning.
Are you? So at some point, do one of those other players just say, "Look, I'm just too good. You can't keep him out." But it's a good problem to have a lot of good players.
Go into Jackson Arnold or the rule changes first?
Oh, we can go. Both will take 5 minutes. I mean, it's only a little red meat for us OU fans. We go to our last little segment here.
You with your figurative speech today.
Little red meat. That's fun.
We know we've all seen this, but let's just watch it again, shall we?
Sorry. One sec. And this is again stuff we heard coming out of last year that I was hoping was just. It was like our defense was just giving them trouble but again it wasn't. It's so much worse because we just didn't have anything by besides true freshman receivers everywhere. But here we go. This is Jackson Arnold trying to do a simple. By the way, all they're working right here is spacing against air. It's just spacing and making sure timing of the routes is pretty good.
Sorry.
Yeah. And you're really just wanting to work timing, which is why in the video we show you after Hugh Freeze
Stacey
has
said,
words.
watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basic drill work. So here we go.
EETTY.
By the way, if you're timing this, it'll also be out right once you, especially if it's man. Once the dude's turn like this is like I'm only saying this because you learned this like in literal 7-on-7 basics. You know he's running a whip route. Ball should be out now. I mean, he's got no chance to catch this dude, and it's just he hadn't even thrown it. And it's like we're like I really don't know. I don't know why. Unless he's trying to get it. And then you get Steve right here with a fantastic throw. Went out right. First off the wind up.
Reminds
Boom.
me of Nick Saban.
That's
It's cut.
That's full weight on the left foot. Then he steps through. He doesn't hold on too much for a strain. By the way, you talk about the international I'm a football coach's thing right here with the play sheet on tucked in the waistband. The amount of times my dad came home and was just there was just where I saw my dad like this, and he's just screaming. And you know, quarterback got to the ball. Go to the ball. Then he couldn't have that ball. Holy. Yeah, there was that, and then there was some talk about what do we know what he was actually referring to, and was he supposed to throw it there? And then it's like, well, I don't know. So the great Tattoo Baker tweets this out.
Filled us in,
and he had the golly, it just blew us out. Had the stage. Hopefully y'all can hear this. Boom.
Be through your hat. Just how much more comfortable is he?
Did you catch me throwing my visor?
I did, yes.
Yes, yeah. I've got to calm down.
Did you catch me throwing the visor? Might be the most disingenuous question I've ever heard in my life. Yes, they caught you. You were right there in front of the entire media.
Times with quarterbacks, but when I've got to calm down sometimes with quarterbacks.
I've got to calm down sometimes with quarterbacks for those who may not be able to hear. Sorry.
Wait, but that line alone implies to me that they're not getting it. Just alone, like
right.
I gotta calm down. Like it sounds like to me sometimes with my kids when I'm like, come on, like you can do it. I'm like, wait, they're just kids. They just don't get it.
Right.
That's like
a good point.
His comment.
That's a good point.
Is like, oh, I just need to calm down with them because they just don't get it. You know what I mean? Anyways.
Yeah. It's like I can't, I don't need to be mad. They just don't get it.
When we have, again, it goes back to when we have the right thing called.
When we have the right thing called.
The expectation, and I think it's a reasonable one, is we execute it. And
I mean, that is one of the greatest, when we have the right thing called, the expectation, and I think it's a reasonable one, is we do it.
That sounds like a marriage. Like, really Chad, when I ask you to help me with the dishes, I think the reasonable thing for you to do would be to help me with the dishes.
Yeah. Seriously. That's fantastic. I think it's a reasonable.
And now, if we haven't coached it well enough when we get in there, maybe that's the case. I'll ask the quarterback staff, what do we tell him? Because we got him wide open and we don't throw the touchdown. And that's frustrating as heck. When you it's hard enough to score in this league and in any game, really.
There.
That stuff right there is just not encouraging, I think, for Auburn fans right now.
Okay, I love it too. Because he tries to put the blame maybe we just need to teach him in a different way. What are we telling him? But at the same time, I think he's literally like, what is not clicking?
Yeah,
because he goes on to say, we had him wide open. Like, why don't you throw it?
Yeah.
And just the pettiness behind it. Yeah, Stacey works with kids. She gets it. She says it can be frustrating because they just don't get it sometimes. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
And that just the pettiness behind that. And my original thought was oh, maybe they're not actually supposed to throw. Maybe that was just a route running drill and I don't know. I didn't play tackle football, so
right.
I don't know. I thought maybe that was the case, and then I see the next. I'm like, nope, that was definitely not the case. Oh. I don't know. I think his confidence is just shot.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, and I want him to do well, not against Oklahoma.
Right.
But I want him to do well.
I want him to do that against Oklahoma.
I want him to do
what we
exactly
just saw him
that
do. I want him to
on
freak.
September the 28th.
Yep.
But he lost confidence and I don't think he can get it back. I'm kind of starting to get there. with him, and I hate it for him. And maybe he'll prove us all wrong. I hope not. Again, I hope he doesn't do it September 28th. But
which I really
thought it
do
was
hate,
an
man,
interesting
for him. I wish you'd
clip.
No, yeah, it certainly is. I hate it for him. I wish you could find a way to get some of that back after September 28th and has a good career whenever Texas has to play Auburn and all them. So that'd be awesome. We're right at an hour. I don't really have much else. There was what's up?
Rule changes.
Yeah.
I'll get those.
Les Wilson says Devin Jordan might start at corner. Yeah, he's been out there. Man, with how good Eli Bowen is, you could have two. I'm talking that is clamps if you could have Eli and Gentry out there. Because again, like and Gentry is the first real corner we've had that's that NFL type guy, and you watch him and you hear the coaches talk about him. And he's that kind of athlete at the corner position, which is just rare to see. But also another a different true player, true freshman from Chakotah, Oklahoma, a guy that apparently is just making everybody
look silly
in practice, and that's including the starters that have been there for a while. I'm trying to figure out a picture of him.
Yeah, no, this was another player that the family friend we talked about that went to the alumni barbecue was like, holy cow.
Elijah Thomas, by the way. I don't think I mentioned his name, but
I don't think he did it there. He was saying, holy cow, like this kid is good. And, and he loves it too because he is an Oklahoma kid. We all favor Smidge, the ones from Oklahoma, but he had nothing but great things to say about him too.
Yeah, a big kid. I didn't realize how big he was.
And he said it didn't matter where the ball was thrown. Like he was making plays. He was catching it.
Outrunning everybody. Which you look at his track stats, he's like a 10-4, 10-3 something, 100-meter, 25-foot long jump. Like he was like a national elite level long jumper, which you have to be fast to be. And obviously had elite speed as well. And I'm just, excited that we finally have one of those guys where it's like, hey, we might have, obviously he's not going to be as good as Isaiah Smith at Ohio State, but
I hope so. Maybe you never know.
That'd be nice.
Yes, what Stacy said, like and share and subscribe to
Jeremiah
the channel.
Smith, I mean,
While Chad is about to pull up his next segment, go ahead and throw a like on the video. And really what helps us even more is if you throw a comment. Tell us, who you're looking forward to seeing play. What are your thoughts on some of the videos we showed, whether that's the Jackson Arnold stuff, the John Mateer stuff, the Oklahoma maybe being a sneaky competitor in the college football playoff stuff, just anything that you can give us a comment. We love it. We love to interact with you guys. And again, we will be here every Monday at 7 p.m. And then also, since the season is starting, we will be doing post games. Now we might be doing them from our car because we do attend the games. So the background might not be super great, but we will be there to talk, hopefully nothing but positive things on Saturdays with you guys. Or if not, we can all vent together.
Yeah.
We can do that.
So just real quick on a couple updates. There's been a couple rule changes, which were just wow. The first one was the first one was if there's a fumble, apparently if there's a loose ball, anyone that's going to get a loose ball is a defenseless player. So like if they're going to be targeting now, if you even incidentally like have forceful contact to the head, which is odd. I'm sure that's not going to cause issues at all for anybody.
Several people diving for a ball.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you determine?
Yeah. How do you determine who hit who? By the way, like, what if they all hit each other? I don't know. Maybe
I can
maybe
understand
it's one of
if
those,
somebody's
like,
going for it, and you see people tackle other people to like not get the ball.
Yep.
So maybe if like you targeted in that way, but I feel like that was already like a rule. I'm sure that will cause, like you said, that'll cause no issues at all.
Also, and I thought they made this change like a long time ago, but they also announced that there is going to be a change to, if you remember the Dan Lanning timeout situation or 12-man situation last year when they played Ohio State in the first game, whenever Will Howard decided to slide the ball with 0 seconds left. If you remember, they call timeout, they get out of the long timeout, and they have about 12 seconds left, and Dan Lanning runs a 12th guy on the field. After intentionally does it, and it's because you have a 5-second runoff for the penalty, and so now they have like 7 seconds left, and of course that's not enough time for them to get down the field. And he said he did it on purpose, and so they've just changed where if you do that, it just goes back to the previous game time. So like it would go back to whatever the time was before the play was ran. Yeah, which I was like, yeah. It was smart.
Work smarter, not harder.
Bill Belichick did that all the time with certain rules.
Isn't there a rule change for like the fake injuries? Did I see that?
Yeah, so the fake injuries now the player has to at least come out that play, even if you call a timeout they can't come back into the game. So if the
At
player,
that play, they can come back into the game.
yeah, if the player goes down after the ball is stopped, it's like, you see a lot of players, if you have a big play, they're running to go with speed, and the player just drops to stop the momentum. If a player does that, then they have to, then they're out the rest of they're out the rest of that play. They can't come back in. And I want to say there's something like if there's not, I can't remember if it wasn't like, I don't think they get into judging injury. I would have to go back and read it. But yeah, if you call a timeout now for that player, he can't come back in that play, even if you call it. So, I wish it had just had him out the entire series. Like, I think that'd be a much bigger deterrent than just that rest of that play. But that's basically the big rule changes. They have to use a timeout. Yeah.
Which that's pretty big, because timeouts
are valuable. Game manager,
I was wondering. I was like, I feel like it said something about you have to use a timeout.
Yeah, that's right. You have to use a timeout. Yep.
That because that would be a big determiner not to do it, because you need them. And
as the resident pro and a literal expert in game management and timeout use, timeouts are valuable. And obviously Oklahoma coaches in the past have used them on punts. I want to just throw my nachos on the field. I'm just like, dude, what are y'all doing? I want to throw a French's corn dog and hit someone in the eyeball. I'm like, stop calling timeouts on punts. Take the 5 or I don't know. It's just frustrating, man. I'm just big timeout. You have to use a timeout. The player is also out for that play. So right. I think obviously
any other rule changes.
You can't say, I heard some people say you can't say certain words now. Like you can't clap. Basically, you can't make any signals that would simulate a snap. You can't do certain things.
You can't do GUN movements. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you were anyway. I think it was already considered unsportsmanlike conduct, but now I think it's an official rule.
Who did that? What player did that last year?
Ohio State.
Was it? I thought it was an LSU player. Because he's the one that hit that girl in the car later on, after the season.
There were several players who did it.
Poor girl, actually.
DUMB.
Real quick, Jonathan here has been awesome in the comments, and I want to honor that by answering this. 24th team playoff thoughts. So this has been my take ever since NIL became a thing, and you could play players. It is the height of irony and hypocrisy. I almost, in the honor of my brother-in-law, said hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. To realize the sport is all about money and then not want the leagues to do anything they can to make more money. Whenever you introduce money into anything, as the main component, they're going to do whatever they can to make more money. There's a reason the NFL is structured the way it is, and there's a reason that they make a lot of money. I think especially regarding how irrelevant bowl games are, I hate to say, they just are, you're going to see 24. You're going to see eventually what the the playoff you see at like the D2 level or one of those. It's just there's money in the bowl. You can make the bowl games relevant again if you make them playoff games. You shorten the regular season. You might get rid of some of the preseason or the pre-conference season games, and you basically buy out or you sell off the rights to view those games. But it's how it is. There's a reason why March Madness wants to add 90 teams, and you know why they're going to do it? Because they're going to make even more money. Because everybody watches March Madness. And here's the thing, and what every single one of us won't admit, but we all know we'll do. We'll watch it if there's 32 football teams. We'll watch if there's 64. We'll watch no matter how many they put in there because we love football and we want OU to win national championships. And if they're playing in a playoff game, we're going to watch it, no matter if they're team number 1 or they're team number 32.
Could be playing and winning.
That's exactly it. And you know who knows that better than we do? The people that are paying to have these rights to the games. There's billions of dollars in airing them out. And the moment that we all said, hey, all that matters is how much rev share we get from the conference said, well, we're going to have as many valuable games as we can have. And the way you do that is to have a lot of people want to buy your TV rights. And
right. Because they already were having issues of people not wanting to support the bowl games or have.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And so, it does change it now. Jonna May does clarify the injury rule. We want to put that up there. Hi, Jonna May.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Jonna May. Boom. If they go down after the ball is set, they have to use it. I really should have just refresh this instead of just going off of what I read. If they go down,
I also think I threw it on you. I don't think it was on your list.
No, welfare.
Sorry.
You can. This is why we have great people in the comments that make sure we stay on the straight and narrow. If they go down after the ball is set, they have to use a timeout. If they don't have one, it's a 5-yard penalty. Beautiful.
I think it's fair.
Hi, T. Here we go. Boom. Les Wilson, I don't disagree. I'm like, man, I liked it at. I wish they would have gone to like 8 instead of 12. But here's the thing: it's like they're going to go to 16 eventually, and just. I mean, 100% they're going to 16.
I know it was 12, but it's like it already felt like there was a time.
And I think they've already approved 16. I mean,
I think they have already as well. It was like for 2027 or 2028, maybe. I don't know. It was sooner than I thought with 16. And again, we're not saying we support it.
No,
and like that's our ideal choice. My ideal choice really probably would have been 8 max.
I hated this whole like athletes don't get any money and like they were getting abused out there. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Athletes had the most cush life on college that you could ever want. It was awesome to be an athlete.
Oh yeah. Anyways,
I happened to be one at one point, and you know, I don't know.
Not at the same level, but I too. But anyways,
she was more. You were more important though to your team than I was to mine. That's for sure.
But again, it's like we already said, we might not like it, we might even hate it, but we're gonna watch it. Even if we're hate watching, we're gonna be there watching the games, and that's just, and they know that, and there's nothing they can do to stop me.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable.
I like everybody else is pretty much 8. Yeah, 8 to me would have been the max. It should have been the max number, but like you said, all these bowls are irrelevant. All these companies aren't going to give their money to sponsor these revenues. All these cities aren't going to give up their, they don't really care to have it there either. There's just so much that goes into it. So now, well, how do we make those relevant? Let's just put them in the playoff.
Yep. And again, and we'll end it here. I know that we're rambling right now, but it's where we've gone back to the OU Texas game. I hate to say it, guys. There's a reason why the $300 million, or what is it, $100 million, $60 million revenue that
several million
renovations they were supposed to do haven't even started 3 years later. It's because there's a chance they aren't even going to play there anymore, and they're just going to go home and homes and make a ton of revenue off of ticket and concessions and use it to pay to get their NIL going and their athletic department moving. And you're going to see a big push for that whenever Oklahoma starts cutting sports programs, which we don't have to get into.
For another day.
Yeah, that's for another day. Y'all have been awesome. Thank you. On another note, for the prayers and everything for our family. It has meant the world. Definitely struggled with some really tough things the past few weeks, and it means a lot to just have people praying. We definitely are people that believe in the power of prayer, and we know that it helped us get through what we had to get through. So I just wanted to take a second and say, that I truly appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Well, y'all rock. Thank you so much for joining us. It really does mean a lot. We know y'all are busy, and it means a lot that you guys will take some time out to hear what we have to say.
Yeah. So next week it'll be our first show before game week.
Unbelievable.
Or our first game week show, our last off-season show. Yeah. So we'll try to do some predictions for you. We'll be looking into Illinois State. Not that, I guess there's not a ton out there.
We'll have some fun facts.
Yeah, but we'll have some fun stuff. Yeah. There will be a Xeno Zone because I know you all really want the true star of the show. And so, we'll just hit on some of those next Monday at 7 p.m. So we hope to hear from you, see you back in the comments. And then also Saturday after that game, we'll be there for the post game.
Oh, yeah.
So we hope you join us.
You guys rock. God bless. Thank you again for joining. We'll see you next week.